Catching paranormal activity on camera is always a fulfilling, yet repulsive experience. All across the world, there are paranormal hunters who have a main goal of catching spirits on camera. Many of them, however, simply don't ever find anything. Rather, people living their daily lives and not expecting anything to happen are usually the ones who experience some of the most true and shocking phenomena. Or so they think. Back during the summer of last year, a video began to circulate the internet via Facebook from a user out of Rhode Island named Scott. He claimed that his kids were too afraid to go play at the park they had arrived at because of a swing that was forcefully moving on its own. This is what he found.
There's no wind out here right now.
No one on it either.
Look, there's nobody on it.
It's just moving.
There's no wind. Look at the other swings and look at the
I mean, maybe someone pushed it and just went away, but where were they going? It's going faster. Look at it. Do you want to go to a different playground?
There's nobody out there.
I do not want to go. Ghosts aren't real. I mean, wouldn't the other swings be moving?
Look, ain't nobody here, dude. This ain't a joke.
Nobody. I mean, some people.
There's no. Look at the other swings. They're not even moving. Look. Look at it.
That's weird. I mean, it could be the wind, but there's no wind.
Legit.
Immediately, and as expected, the video was met with mixed reception. A good amount of people claimed that since the dad said that there was no wind, obviously this is the work of a paranormal entity. Another large portion, however, claimed that this was very much the wind. Third, some people claim that someone is simply pulling on the swing with the fishing line. So, breaking this all down, we have three major theories. 1. This was a ghost. 2. This was the wind. And 3. This was a hoax, and someone's pulling on the swing with a fishing line. Regarding Theory 1, we need to dive into the paranormal history of the area. This park is located on the St. Hope Bay in Warwick, Rhode Island, and doing a search on haunted parks in this area brings up nothing. To be frank, in Warwick, the only haunted places appear to be the City Hall, a mansion, and a motel. There's absolutely no mention of any sort of haunting or reason for a haunting therein around any playgrounds in Warwick. While this doesn't conclusively debunk this theory, it leaves it in a gray area. With this in mind, let's look at this video from a practical perspective for Theory 2. We may or may not know from physics that there exist two concepts called surface area and simple forces. Surface area is essentially the size of the outermost layer of an object, and generally, in most cases, the larger the said object, the higher the surface area that it has. Wind, in this case, is acting as a simple force that's pushing at a certain magnitude or strength against our swing. As we can see, these two concepts work hand in hand. Next, let's consider the wind and the wind direction. Generally on coastlines, wind blows landward or towards the land and is usually pretty consistent day in and day out. In this case, we have a swing on a shoreline. This swing has a very large surface area that lies perpendicular to the force direction of the wind. This is, however, while safely assuming that the wind is blowing towards the land. Our scenario in the video essentially causes the swing to act as a huge sail, catching the forceful bay wind that's blowing towards it. Oh, but he said there's no wind. Well, looking at it from a skeptical perspective, we need to analyze every frame of the video. At around 1 minute into the video, we can see a shot of trees in the background, and what are they doing? Blowing forcefully. So we now know that there is indeed wind blowing at this park, and it's not entirely stagnant like he claimed. Also, doing some research led me to news articles that have covered this story, and they've claimed that once visiting this location, there was, indeed, wind. I personally believe this theory since it's simple physics. There's really nothing more to it. Theory 3 states that there are fishing lines attached to it and that someone's pulling on the swing. This is one that really seems like a stretch, to be honest. First off, we'd need to have someone out of sight pulling on a large fishing line very forcefully, and second, I stated previously that a news organization claimed that they visited the site and that the wind was blowing, and the swing was doing the very same thing, swinging forcefully. This statement in itself debunks this last theory. If there were truly someone pulling on this, non-stop, with the fishing line, then, wow, they must be some dedicated people. Anyway, to close, this video did indeed cause quite a stir when it was first uploaded, and to be honest, it freaked me out a little bit when I first saw it as well. I, however, just cannot get over the obvious flaw in the uploader's logic, since there's clearly wind at this location. This alleged ghost unfortunately doesn't exist, and with that being said, I'll leave you with that. Thanks so much for watching my analysis of the allegedly haunted swing. I hope you all enjoyed this, and as always, if you have any other creepy videos, channels, and websites to recommend, please keep throwing them at me. Lastly, thanks once again for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I love you all, and as always, good night.